You know, most of us go about our day without giving a single thought to the huge invisible networks that keep our homes running. I'm talking about the pipes in the walls, the air cycling through the vents. It all just works, right? Until, of course, it doesn't. We're going to dive deep into the hidden complexity of a modern home, all by starting with one very real, very common problem.
And it all kicks off with this, a scenario that is, let's be honest, every homeowner's absolute nightmare. But this simple, frustrating problem, it's actually our way into a much bigger and honestly, a way more interesting world.
So picture this. You've got a blocked main sewer line. All of a sudden, nothing in your house works the way it should. The shower won't drain, the toilets are useless. The systems we totally depend on have just slammed on the brakes, forcing us to face this hidden infrastructure we usually just ignore.
And here's the thing, this is so much more than just an inconvenience. A major failure like this can cause some serious damage and chaos in your life. It's a huge red flag that a really fundamental part of your home's ecosystem has just completely broken down. And fixing it? Yeah, that's going to take a lot more than a simple plunger.
Okay, so that's the problem, and it's a huge one. But that brings us to the really cool part, the surprisingly advanced solution. Because in the 21st century, we don't just poke at pipes anymore, we perform like surgical strikes on these blockages.
The main tool for this job is called hydrojetting. We're talking about water, but pressurized to an insane degree. Powerful enough to just blast through years of grease, invasive tree roots, you name it. This is not your grandpa's drain snake. This is a powerful, super precise cleaning method that can make old pipes almost like new again.
But don't think this is just blasting water blindly down a pipe. No way. The whole process is really methodical. First, a tiny camera is sent down the line to get eyes on the problem. Think of it like a medical scan, to get a proper diagnosis. Only then is the high-pressure jet sent in to target and just obliterate the obstruction. And the result? A totally clear line, which they can prove by sending the camera back in for a final look.
So that single sewer pipe, that's really just the final chapter of a much, much bigger story. It's time to zoom out and take a look at all the hidden networks that are humming along inside our homes right now.
The best way to think about it is to imagine your home as a living, breathing body. That sewer line is just one piece of the circulatory system. But there's also a respiratory system, a nervous system, and a power grid, and they are all working together constantly.
Let's start with the full water network. You've got water heaters giving you hot showers, maybe some systems that filter and treat the water to make it better, and then you have pumps, which are kind of like the heart of the system, pushing wastewater away. It's this constant, seamless loop of water coming in, being used, and then being safely taken away.
And what about the air you're breathing right now? Well, your home's respiratory system is probably way more complex than you think. It's not just about heating and cooling anymore. Now we manage humidity levels, we use UV lights to purify the air, and we even have systems dedicated to bringing in fresh, filtered air from outside. It's all about controlling the quality of the very air you live in.
And of course, absolutely none of this works without the juice, right? The utility network. Gas lines are the fuel for things like your furnace and water heater, while the electrical system is the lifeblood for, well, everything else. This is the bedrock, the foundational grid that keeps all the other networks up and running. So you've got all these different systems, water, air, power. But what's connecting them? What's the brain of the operation that manages and monitors all these networks? Well, welcome to the home's nervous system, or what we all call smart technology.
And this right here is pretty much command central for a lot of modern homes. A smart thermostat does so much more than just set the temperature. It actually learns your daily habits, it gives you control from anywhere in the world through your phone, and it even shows you how you're using energy. It's the brain making smart, efficient decisions for your home's entire air network.
So that's awesome for your climate system, but it kind of begs the question, right? If we can get this smart with our air, what about the water network? The one that caused that nightmare problem in the first place? How do we make that smarter and safer?
Well, here's the answer. A device like this is a game changer. A smart water shutoff basically watches your entire plumbing system 24/7 looking for leaks. And if it detects a total disaster, like a pipe bursting, it can automatically shut off the main water supply to the whole house. That alone could save you from thousands and thousands of dollars in water damage. This is the brain playing defense for the circulatory system.
And the cool thing is, it just keeps going. The brain has all these little sensors scattered around the house. Your sump pump in the basement can now have Wi-Fi, and it'll send an alert to your phone the second it fails. You can have smart detectors that are constantly sniffing for invisible threats like radon gas. These aren't just gadgets. They're digital watchdogs, an early warning system for your entire home.
But let's be real. Even with the smartest tech in the world, catastrophic failures can still happen. So what happens when the alarms go off for real? What happens when one of these networks has a total meltdown that's way beyond a simple clog?
This number, it really says it all. Because these systems, they don't fail politely between 9 and 5. The need for an immediate response is constant, because when a critical system goes down, every single minute counts.
And recovering from a major failure? Wow, it is a whole different ballgame. We're talking about massive undertakings, like professional water damage restoration, maybe even digging up your entire front yard to get to buried pipes, and then all the repair and rebuilding that follows. This is the worst-case scenario, and it's exactly why understanding these hidden networks is just so important.
And that really leaves us with one last thought. It's funny, right? We'll spend hours learning about the engine in our car, but the average home is a far more complex and, honestly, a far more vital machine in our lives. So, the real question is, do you actually know what's going on under the hood of your own home? Do you know what's running behind the walls and under the floors, keeping your world turning?